what is social anxiety? It is an excessive overdrive of this capacity to detect threat in other human beings. It is when the sympathetic nervous system, which could be considered as the accelerator, it's stuck on. And the brake, which is known as the ventral vagal branch or the social engagement system, that's not coming on to slow down the vehicle that is the body. So that means that when you try to interact with people, or people with social anxiety try to interact with others, here they are wanting to connect, but there's two things that the body is fundamentally doing. It's either striving to protect or it's striving to connect. If the sympathetic branch is on and the body's in a state of fight or flight, through neuroception, our brain is only subconsciously seeing the cues from that person that appear to be threats. And because we've got adrenaline and cortisol flooding through our body with sympathetic activation, our eyes start to survey the environment for threat, to escape. Our ears, the middle muscles of our ears actually tighten, and our ears start to listen for low frequency tones. Low frequency tones are the same tones as predators. So it's an ancestral evolution and ancestral adaptive response. Yet, in the old paradigm, you have social anxiety, you're shy, you have low confidence. I'm here to say, is that the case? No. I'm here to say that from a new paradigm perspective, your social engagement system, which is the brake to the vehicle that is your body, it's not activating. It's not strong enough. It's a term known as vagal tone. To interact with people, there is a bit of play. There's a bit of expression. There's a bit of back and forth. And that requires a bit of arousal. Sympathetic is not bad. Whenever you're playing sport, there's sympathetic activation. Whenever you're being intimate and making love, there's elements of sympathetic activation. Whenever you're performing or doing at work, there's an element of sympathetic activation. But as there's the accelerator, is there the capacity of the brake to be coming on and supporting the body and the vehicle to stay at a relative speed, to stay on the road? This is what happens if there's low vagal tone. Think of tone like muscle tone. The more I run, the more tone my muscles will develop for me to be able to run further, for me to be able to run with resistance, etc. It means that the muscle is able to accept the pressure and resistance, and it's able to bounce back. That's what tone is. Now, when we think about vagal tone, though, what's rampant, again, because of our environmental factors, our way that we're living, all the elements I've spoken about, we've got very low vagal tone. So it means that when there is a slight element of pressure on the nervous system, through arousal, through activation, through adapting to an ever-changing environment, there's pressure on the system and it's unable to bounce back, and we maintain low vagal tone. That means that the accelerator stays on and people are trying to connect when their body is actually striving to protect. Their body is striving to look for threat, to get away. A telltale sign that you can see with social anxiety is the vocal cords. When the social engagement system is active, there will be more tonality changes in the voice to be able to go, hello, how are you? When the social engagement system has low activation, the voice will sound very monotone like this. So again, people are wanting to connect, but their body is striving to protect. There's an old paradigm where when someone is behaving this way, particularly teenagers, they're shared that they're shy, they're quiet, they're whatever they're labeled with. But this isn't understood, that it's not them, it's about what's happening in their nervous system, in their body. When we think about social anxiety and looking at it from an integrative new paradigm approach, for you to be able to engage with people, to feel a sense of esteem, Serotonin is one of the primary neurotransmitters that sends signals throughout the body that we feel good, that we feel happy, that we have the capacity to focus. If there's low levels of serotonin, it's challenging to interact with people. Neurotransmitters send signals throughout the nervous system. Now, why would serotonin be low? We're living in a day and age where our bodies are depleted due to our environmental factors, as well as the way that we've innocently learned to live life. An example of this is that we live day to day with the accelerator on full pelt. And within our modern lifestyles, we've lost touch with creating enough time during the day to put on the brake, to allow the body to go into a state of rest, relaxation, restoration. And as a result, I've seen with clients commonly that they're going all day, they're crouched over at a computer with tension and pressure, and they wonder why it's difficult to connect with people. There's low vagal tone. When they're with people, the accelerator is stuck on. They're unable to switch it off. And this means that then their brain will go, there's something wrong with me, I'm weak, I'm flawed, and older paradigms will go, we need to visit your past, there's something wrong with you. Something that I spoke to before is that our trauma trains and informs our limbic system and deeper parts of the brain as to how to interpret our world. So implicit memory is what this stands for. Now, this is a natural survival mechanism. It means that because we're human, our brains will still detect threat. If there is something that looks like a pattern of the past that led to a lot of emotional pain, our brain is always predictively processing and looking out for that. So it's seeing that coming back to the fact that we're human, our brains will continue to detect threat. And the more we understand that this is a part of us, that we can strengthen our brake so that when it does detect threat, the brakes quickly come on for us to handle it, we'll continue to live with a lot of suffering.